back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I'm your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azurketi Bard.
I'm Joel, and I play Dex, a kobold rogue.
Dang, boys.
I am Ryan. I play Tough, an automaton inventor.
I'm Taryn, and I play Waltz, a human champion.
Taryn had this one from the get-go.
I think he even used that voice before for an intro.
It sounds very
Probably.
familiar to me.
Yeah. We used that voice for,
Dang it.
like, on our Metacast, where we did that completely improv session.
Oh, yeah,
Where
that's
he,
right.
he was like
Yes.
a guy in the tavern. By the way, that's probably my favorite Metacast we've ever done. Yeah, that's on Patreon, by the way. We have a Patreon, and we do other things besides the downtimes.
If you give us some money, we'll let you listen to it.
yeah, basically. Yeah, including an entirely improv session where we like did musical GMs, basically, like popcorn GM. Suddenly, someone else
we gotta
had
do
to
that
take over
again.
the scenario. That was probably the hardest I've
I didn't
laughed in
get
a
to do
while.
that one, so we should
Yeah.
definitely do that again.
Adam would be
Oh,
better
no.
still to do another one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But something way less funny is going on right now in the Mortals and Portals campaign. If you
It was
guys
kind of
remember.
funny.
Well, yeah, there was some funny stuff that happened last session, actually, including
Waltz
Waltz
was
just
literally wearing a saddle.
collecting hammers and a saddle. Yeah, basically you guys zipline into the cloud-covered city, and you guys knew that there was some shops, maybe like a potion shop, a supply shop around there that you could potentially loot from. You found some loot on the streets. You were doing your best to avoid undead soldiers that were lurking about. You even encountered some kitsune people serving Raoul, and they were talking about how they need to leave because, you know, the city's plummeting, but they said no, they have to stay now, and they seemed to be uneasy by that fact. And you guys, after some time going a lot of back and forth, but I don't think all that made it into the episode, decided to go to the supply store instead of the potion shop. And you didn't want to do both, so you picked the supply shop on the way to the lake where you're going to try and ferry across to where you can drop off the Florida Vita, basically. And when you went in there, you uncovered a bunch of items kind of related to riders, warriors that ride the hippogriffs around here. So Waltz found a saddle. I think one of you guys got like a scatter shot arrow thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think Tough got like a grappling hook.
Yeah,
Can't remember what
basically.
Jules got. Do you remember what you got, Jules? Probably not. And if you don't remember, you'll never get to use it. So it's kind of on
I
you.
hate that I feel like I'm forced to carry the saddle, too.
Yeah, he's just kind of got a saddle on his back, I guess.
It was a
It's-
potion of
Mist form?
invincibility.
Yeah. Okay, something like that, but not quite.
Yeah, 1 hour of invincibility.
Yeah, okay.
Oil of swiftness.
That makes you think of a greased up deaf guy from Family Guy.
You're never gonna get me.
Anyways, and then you went back out into the city, and you were trying to make your way to the Castle of Star Sea. So just a quick reminder, there's a lake there. Talking to you, Ryan. And in the center of this lake is the Castle of Star Sea, and there's an entrance to Caverna de Luz where you need to return to the Florida Vita to. But Jules is going to swim underwater at this lake and find the underground passage, get into the back side of the castle. So he's basically already on the other side, could go to Caverna de Luz, but then he's going to go back up into the castle and like let you guys in, and then you can all storm into there yourselves. And then the rest of you will ferry across the lake to meet him at that castle on a boat. So that's what you're going to do. But on your way there, Waltz, through some like shiftiness and you guys running stealth treks and trying to make your way through the clouds, Waltz accidentally bumped into an undead soldier, and this one was an orc, and they started battling, and then he realized this just so happens, I mean, what a coincidence, like, couldn't make this up. You literally couldn't make this up, you know?
No.
Couldn't.
And it's the exact orc he killed in his origin episode. And if you
No.
recall, this is back when Waltz was like all about fighting, and when he killed this orc, basically learned that this orc was just fleeing tyranny and just wanted to be free, and that kind of sent Waltz down his path of seeing the best in villains or knowing that there's always another side of the story, and that's kind of led to him trusting Geldir and this kitsune that you guys found, Dario, and things like that. So now he's sort of faced with like one of the only, he may be the only person you've killed in episode that was like an actual like sentient thing and not just like a beast or whatever. So yeah, Waltz is face to face with that, and this orc undead let out a roar, and then the rest of Digby's crew that was moving ahead and didn't know they lost Waltz just heard a bunch of other undead running towards that location. And that is where we ended our session. So that is where we'll start our session with the orc. It is their turn, Waltz, so you just spent some time battling it. And
I have my shield raised, right?
I don't remember. Oh yeah, you took out both your hammers and said like it's hammering time or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you did swing
right.
at it with some hammers. So yeah, you don't have a shield up. That's right.
Okay,
if you didn't say
hammers.
that catchphrase, we would not have remembered what you did. So
That came from Adam. Adam had a good suggestion.
it's hammering.
You're welcome.
time. The whole reason you were collecting hammers in the first place.
He knew it was coming.
This orc, the reason you started to recognize him is because he had this gauntlet on his hand that he punched you with back in your origin episode, and this undead version of him has the same, and he grits his teeth, black ooze coming out of him, growls, and is going to ferociously swing his fist at you. Does an 18 hit you?
No, it doesn't.
Good job.
So the memory of fighting him the first time comes rushing back to you, and you sort of remember the speed that he punches with, and surprisingly, even though he's undead and almost looks slower or weaker in a sense, it's the same velocity, same speed, comes rushing at you, and you duck underneath it, and then he is going to horizontally swipe the same gauntlet back at you on the backswing with a follow-up attack. Does a 22 hit you?
No, it does not.
Dang, multi-attack penalty. And as you hear the whooshing sound of the fist flying back at you from behind, you roll forward to get low on the ground as it swipes over your head. And then this orc is going to pound its chest and scream as this black ooze comes flying off of its teeth and is going to try and demoralize you.
Oh, gross.
Does a 22 beat your will DC?
My will is plus 10.
So, yes, it beats it.
It will.
Dang it.
So you are frightened 1, so you're going to take a -1 status penalty to your rolls.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, maybe Waltz is kind of like questioning whether or not to actually fight this thing, kind of given the conflict. You know what I mean?
That would make sense. And I had you guys, the rest of you, roll initiative before we started the episode, because we don't need to make Joel edit you guys saying numbers at me and then me asking you to repeat them again and then writing them down wrong and then reading it back to you and all that stuff. So, yes. So the rest of Bigsby's crew, you guys were closer together, moving your way through these foggy alleyways when you started to hear this commotion, and maybe you're starting to realize that Waltz isn't with you as you're hearing rushing feet towards a direction behind you, that it seems to be ignoring you or not converging on your location. But before you, there is actually one creature that did get to act, and you guys look up and see like the gap in the alleyway, like between two buildings up above. You see a creature leap across the gap and start running backwards, so you can tell that there are creatures up on the roofs as well. And that'll take us to Jules.
Where's Walt? It's just right here.
Ah, son of a gun.
Oh, gosh.
I want to backtrack a little bit. Still trying to remain hidden, but just see what the situation is, if I can. I know it's foggy.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to do is get an idea of, like, obviously what's happening, but like get an idea of how many things are around us.
Yeah, you could roll a perception check.
That is a 24.
So it is very thick fog that you guys are in. Like, you're literally in the clouds right now, and you're struggling to even see like more than 10 feet beyond you at times. Sometimes it's even shorter, sometimes a little bit further, maybe as the clouds drift or you're in a less dense patch. And you're also in very tight alleyways, so you can't even really see that far beyond like the narrow halls you're in anyway. So you really don't have a strong grasp on like how many there are. Judging by just like the sounds and the yips and the snarls and roars and the feet moving, it does sound like you have a group, maybe something around 5 to 10 in the immediate area that are closing in, and then way off in the distance you just hear more like snarling and howling, but it sounds like way further away, so you know the longer you're here, the more likely it is for like more to start to converge on this location.
Okay. I also want to look around and see if there's a clear way to climb up to like the roof for someone that knows how to climb?
Sure. Yeah, you could roll another check if you want to try something like that.
That is a 21.
Nice.
Yeah, so as you started to look up, when you saw the creature jumping over the gap above you, you can tell you can't really see all of the walls of the building, so you don't really know how difficult it may be towards the very, very top. But kind of as you grip the side, you can tell it's a hand-placed brick and like cobblestones and things like that, where maybe there's like lips that you could grab onto, but it's not designed for climbing, and occasionally there's like a windowsill or a ledge, so it doesn't seem like it'd be super easy to climb, but if you're a skilled climber, then you could perhaps make your way up there.
I'll turn to the other two. Dax, can you get up there?
Yeah, should be able to.
Tough, do you want to go up, or are you with me?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Dax, you go up there. I'll be with you, Jules.
All right, watch my back. Dax, good luck. And then I will start to sneak around the corner and head back to try to make it to Waltz.
So you're trying to be stealthy as you do this?
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
That is the 21.
All right, and you're also kind of moving like at half speed, because as you're trying to like sneak and creep, you would assume you're not too far from Waltz. You don't think you would have lost him that long ago, but you're sort of crouched and slowly creeping down the passage and keeping your ears open in case you hear any more creatures blindly running up from behind you and things like that, keeping your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
And that'll take us to Dax.
Dax is going to go ahead and start climbing this wall like Jules suggested. He didn't have time to really formulate a plan himself, so he'll just act at the first suggestion. So I'll go ahead and climb. And unfortunately for the folks listening, I am a cavern kobold, but that is only applicable to natural like caves and rock formations. So that I don't think will do me any good today, which is a bummer. But
Bumskis.
that is a 29 either way, though.
So that's a big number.
Dax, you grip onto the stones and starts to climb upwards. For the first attempt, your foot slips for a moment as you realize these rocks are really slip just from the precipitation of the clouds. And then you maybe readjust and let out an exhale, realizing what you're dealing with. It kind of reminds you maybe of like some of the damper caverns beneath Drakis, and you feel familiar with this. And then you start to take a more precise climb, and you critically succeeded on this climb attempt, so you are going to be able to make it 10 feet up, and you feel you're about halfway up this building as you're hanging on, looking up, and you can start to hear the sounds of the creatures up there.
I'm going to just keep climbing. I'm going to try again.
Okay, roll it up.
27.
Another big
That
number.
one is not a critical success.
Daggone.
So you ascend another 5 feet, and as you're nearing the top of this, you hear the sounds of feet land up just on top of the building you're about to climb over, and you hear some rummaging that sounds like with something mechanical just above the ledge, but you can't quite see over it yet.
I would like to, I don't know if there are rules about it or not. I would like to stealthily try to climb up. I don't know if that's like a slower speed or a negative circumstance bonus, whatever you think. But I would like to
you
try
only
to
have like
stealth.
5 feet left to go. I feel like, I know climb is an action, but I get what you're going for. I think you could kind of just rely on the fog in general, and
Sure.
if you roll well enough on your climb check, I will count that as climbing precisely enough that you don't make too loud of a noise, given all the commotion that's already going on. So
Because I want to climb to the top without actually getting up. I want to
Yep.
just get to the top and see what's up.
gotcha. All right, roll it up.
Ooh, this one is only a 23.
Okay, that is a regular success. You climb the rest of the way, being very slow, very precise, grip the ledge, and peek your head over. And you see a kitsune loading one of those shard rifles that you guys saw when you were flying into the city.
Don't like that.
Dax's eyes go really wide as he clings here to the side of this building, and his claws will just dig in a little bit further as he sits and waits for a second. And that's my turn.
And as you're waiting, you maybe just catch the end of him loading it and don't have enough time to react as he raises it up. looking downward and is going to fire a shot into the mist. Waltz, does a 27 hit you?
Me?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, bro.
Into the mist.
He's like,
What kind
"Yeah, I know
of
the
question is
answer
that?
yes." I like how he's checking his sheet, though.
Yeah.
Just in case he forgot to level up twice like Adam.
He raised his shield unknowingly.
I guess
in
not.
the direction
Patrons
of the
don't know
bullet.
about that.
Yeah, it hits. It hits.
Okay.
And as Waltz, you turn back around facing this orc again, feeling like you're getting a good beat on his attack style, trying to figure out if you want to kill him. Just the almost like PTSD of killing him originally is kind of ringing in your head, and he demoralized you with this fearsome roar. But then suddenly a frigid looking blue electrical beam crackles through the fog and strikes you
that's not
directly in the chest and deals 7 damage as sparks fly off of your armor.
Ugh.
And you hear the sound of charging coming from deep within this fog again, and a second shot is going to fire at you.
I wanted to crawl out of the way in between, just to get
Oh,
out
yeah?
of the way or something. Yeah.
The second shot comes flying in, and then this time you dive to the side, just recklessly bashing your shoulder into the wall next to you, not even really seeing how much room you have with all the fog. But luckily, the beam misses you, and it hits the cobblestones, and you see dirt fly up near you, knowing that this was a powerful strike.
Oh, that was close.
And Waltz, as you stumble away from the wall and square back up with this orc, trying to wonder what you're going to do, maybe look over your shoulder to see if you should go the other way now that you're getting shot at from a place you don't know. And as you turn around, you see a tiny goblin-looking undead that is stumbling up with a dagger showing its fangs. It's missing one of its eyes, and then it is going to just try and stab you in the back.
Waltz really got into some crap.
No joke.
Does a 25 hit you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Taryn.
That's right, fellas.
This dagger tears down your leg and deals
Oh,
5 damage. And as the
that's gonna
blade
leave a mark.
rips away and you can see the wound on your leg, you see the blood quickly starts turning to black, and you can see some of your veins near the cut going black as
Oh, that's-
well.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
This goblin slides under your legs and comes up behind you and places you off guard after tumbling behind. Is going to do a follow-up strike.
On me?
Yes. But luckily you realize he slid behind you and just do like almost a horse kick with your other leg that wasn't just stabbed, and kick him in the chest as he stumbles back into the orc. The orc pushes the goblin back forward to its original spot.
Get the heck away from me, you creep.
And that'll take us to Waltz.
So I just have 2 enemies in front of me, right? An orc and a goblin.
Yeah, and someone shooting at you from up above.
Okay. I want to do a perception check to see if I can find a quick way to cut line of sight with as many of those 3 as possible.
Okay.
21.
You're looking around, looking behind you, and realize now that this goblin tumbled through underneath, and you have both the orc, the goblin, and whoever's shooting at you on one side, that maybe you could go behind you. And you do see that the alley continues behind you, because it is the way you came. And you do know there are a few points behind where it maybe branches off because you originally came from that path. You do hear a lot of commotion of other creatures off in the distance, so you don't know if you'll encounter any more going that way, but you could potentially backtrack and take a sharp turn or something behind you.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to beeline it.
Can you roll me a fortitude save?
Who, me?
Yeah.
17.
As you look down at this cut on your leg, you see the black veins are spreading.
Oh, no. Can I have a couple more actions, Zach? There's more stuff I want to do.
No.
Okay.
You do hear the sound of the orc lumbering back down the path that you just ran. You hear its weapons clanking on the cobblestones, its heavy footsteps, and you can tell it's drawing near to you, but doesn't know maybe exactly where you went, as it probably quickly would have lost sight of you in the fog. And that'll take us to Tough.
All right, well, first thing I want to do is catch up to Jules. So I assume that's my own stealth and movement.
Yeah.
Here I go. Ooh, a nat 20'd, which is a 34 total.
Wow.
Sick, dude.
Thank you.
Jules, you didn't even know Tuff was like right behind you, and just suddenly you feel his hand like maybe pulling on your pants, like he's just was on your hip.
Tough.
Jules,
You've never been that quiet before.
Jules, listen up, okay?
What? Go ahead.
Look, we gotta get out of here. We don't really have a lot of time.
Obviously, we have to get out.
No,
Yeah.
I mean without them. We should just go while we've got a chance.
Are you serious? No, we're not leaving them behind.
Look, our time's a little more limited than you think.
I don't even know how to respond to that. No, we're getting Waltz. We're getting Dax. We're getting out of here together.
Tough like rubs his temples, all frustrated.
Fine.
Can I do some sort of like perception check or something to see if I can pinpoint where those gunfires might have been going to, like that blue streak?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a 14.
You maybe don't have a good angle, so you just sort of see like blue light in the air, and as it connects with the fog, it just kind of makes a larger glow, and you kind of lose the precision of the beam, and you don't really exactly see where it's going. You know, like the direction, but not the angle so much, I would say.
Okay. So I kind of at least have a general idea of where Waltz was now.
Yep.
Tough will just breathe out a sigh.
Fine, well, those gunshots seem to go in that general direction. That might be where Walt still is.
All right, you lead the way.
Alright, let's not split up any more than we have to. Let's stay quiet and hide in this fog as much as we can. We find Waltz and we get out. We should have told Dax a meeting place or something.
Let's not worry about that right now. We'll find him. It's fine. Let's just get Waltz.
Yep, if I've got a specialty, it's not worrying. And I'll use my last action to then take out my pistol.
All right, Tough and Jules, as you're hidden against this wall in this alley, creeping along, being very careful to remain hidden, you do see a human-looking undead that looks pretty frail and weak, sort of just jogging down the alley and just literally runs like right past you towards the sounds and doesn't even notice you, but you see them pass you and going to that same point you guys were going as it snarls and growls.
Ugh, creepy.
Waltz, as you're up against this wall looking at the cut on your leg, something drips down and lands on your shoulder, and you look and see it's some black ooze. And slowly look up, and you see fingers over the ledge and a head peering over, looking down into the alley, searching for you. The head looks straight down at you and looks right into your eyes.
Hello.
And it just lets out a scream, just like this very frightening high-pitched scream that just echoes through the alleyways, and it just carelessly jumps off the building and just lands on the ground, like you hear bones crunch as it hits the ground, and then it just stumbles back up and then is going to just try and grab you. And this is a smaller creature, maybe looks like it was a halfling or something at one point, and is just trying to grab onto your legs and keep you in place. And as it grabs that same leg that's cut and has a big gash in it, and it just stings and burns as it grabs onto you. But you just punch this thing like in the face and get it to let go of your leg, and then maybe kick it off as you manage to remain free for a moment.
Yeah, these things are annoying.
And that'll take us to Jules.
I would like continue moving forward, sneakily.
Okay.
Did he hear the scream?
Oh yeah, you definitely would have heard the loud scream, by the way. Yeah, everybody would have.
I want to take my trident out. I'm gonna sneak up on this wimpy-looking human zombie, and I want to stab him in the back of the head.
Oh,
Dang. Okay.
Well, it's a 17.
That hits.
Oh,
Roll
good job, Jules.
damage.
Okay. That is a whopping. Are you guys ready for this? 5 damage. So I don't know if you had me move, do an attack. I don't really honestly know what.
Yeah, you
how many
moved and
moves.
attacked.
Okay, so I got another action.
Yes, so you go to stab this creature with your extracted trident, and just as you said, you go to stab it in the head, and you just stab it in the back. One of the prongs like goes out its mouth. The other two just kind of like wrap around its head and scrape its cheeks, and you rip it out, and you just hear like the neck bones like crackle as the head tilts for a second, and then it stumbles around and looks at you, and then its bones like snap back into place, and its jaw kind of fixes itself and looks at you as blood is running down it, but it is still alive, and it lets out a roar at you.
Jules, what did I say about quiet?
I take my trident and pull it back, and I say, "Tell your friends about me." And I stab it in the face.
Dang, okay.
Amateurs. Why is it always amateurs?
So, that is a 24.
Wow, okay, that hits.
Another whopping 5
Nice.
damage.
Oh,
Dang, I feel like with a cool line like that, it should have killed it, but you stab it now in its open mouth, like while it was roaring, and then just try and like pry its head off, and just to like scoop and flick its head down the alley. And as you pry, like its bones are crackling, and it puts its hand on top of its head and starts to like force it back down, and then grabs onto your trident and like pulls it out of its neck for you as it stumbles side to side. This thing is still alive.
For the record, I did that on purpose, because I'm not going to tell him to tell his friends about me and then just kill him.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, that's really stupid to do.
I
Makes
get
a lot
what
of
you're
sense.
doing now.
And that'll take us to Dax. Dax, you are climbing up the building. You see this Kitsune shooting a shard rifle downwards. What do you do?
So this Kitsune above him just shot that shard rifle, correct?
Yep.
I would like to seek and see if this is the only Kitsune on the roof, or if there are multiples.
Okay.
That is a nat 20, my man. So perception, that's a 31.
Sick. Yeah, like as far as you can tell, because again, it is really foggy, you try to zone in and rely more on your ears rather than what you can see. And maybe even close your eyes for a moment so you don't let yourself be deceived by the fog. And you do feel confident that for sure on this roof, this is the only creature, and you don't hear the sounds of any other shard rifles, and maybe even the sounds that you can hear, just the consistency of the footsteps and the way they're moving, do seem to be undead creatures. And with that nat 20, I'd even let you know that the one that you saw jumping over the alleyway earlier is the one that like jumped off the roof down into the alley and let out a scream. Like you can tell that in this area, this is the only creature on the roof for now.
Awesome. Okay. Then Dax will, with one arm, reach up, grab the Kitsune, and try to pull him off the roof.
Kill
Oh,
him.
sick. Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
I guess roll like a push, and I would count that as like a pull in the other direction, I guess.
Are you saying shove?
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah, 2E. Yeah, shove.
Okay, so that athletics check is a 31.
Oh,
Nice.
dang.
That's
Okay, that's
great.
actually a critical success.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I'm gonna have that
Cool.
double the damage from his fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Get a whopping
Heck
5
yeah.
damage. Do it.
you actually reach up and grab his foxtail, and then just yank his tail back, and he drops the rifle. Like, whoa, what the heck? Ah! And then he slips off the roof and falls, and just lands like on his head, and you just hear his neck snap and his body roll over. You can tell you just.
Jeez, Dax.
Yeah, Zach ain't holding back here.
That's so
Don't
cool.
let. I just picture like him bouncing off the ground off of
yeah.
his head.
Yeah,
Just like
he's
a
out
sack
cold.
of potatoes. All right,
That's gross.
I guess I'll use my last action to mantle and get up onto the roof. And
Nice word choice.
Yeah, you mantle up, maybe dust your clothes off, and see a shard rifle on the ground. And that'll take us to the goblin that tumbled through Waltz, that is maybe running towards the scream. And Waltz, you just see this goblin slide down the alley and make eye contact with you. It used all of its actions to run towards your location, but he is now in the area with you, and that'll take us to you, Waltz.
Okay, so I have one above me and then one just turned the corner.
No, the one that was above you jumped down and is like directly in front of you now.
So they're both in front of me.
Yep.
Okay, Zach or Nesty, I would like to use all 3 of my movement actions, which is 90 total, to try and lose these things.
Which way? Like even further away from the way you were, or back towards it, or what?
I'm trying to, as quickly as I can, cut line of sight with them as soon as I see the first opportunity. So I guess I'm just trying to weave through these alleyways.
Roll me a
as soon as I see,
percentage die.
76.
That's pretty
Nice,
good.
All right.
buddy, you did it.
I kind of just wanted to see maybe how lucky you could get with the layout of the alleys, and that's not like an insanely high number, so I will say if you want to wrap back, you could run maybe like 60 away and find a way to like loop back and come back another 30. So you could get like 90 from them, but only 30 away from where you were, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Walt, you maybe just push with your shoulders, getting both of these smaller undead away from you as you see the orc rounding the corner, lumbering back towards you, and then just sprint down the alley, hook the first left you see a second left, and start to button hook back the way you came, so you know you ran at least 90 from them, hopefully kind of being separated by the buildings, but are doing your best to not get too far away from where you hope the rest of Digsby's crew is, because you did get a little turned around in these alleys in general. But you did also run away earlier, so you do know you've gained some distance on them, but you're doing your best to kind of stay closer to that spot.
Yeah, did I find a good little nook or cranny to kind of just like regather where I feel safe?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to try and go inside one of these buildings?
I probably have to do a perception check for what I want,
Yeah,
which
I'd
is
say
to
maybe
see like, what
that'd be on
is-
a different turn, because you did just want to run as much as you could.
That's true. All right.
All right, and that'll take us to the orc that is getting very upset and running around, and you can hear that he's still after you. You hear his snarls, and that'll bring us to Tough.
Yes. All right, first I want to yell at Jules.
Jules, what are you doing?
What do you want me to do? He's right in front of us.
I said be quiet, and then you go and stab one of the zombies and he screams his head off?
It's just like gargling while you guys are talking, like.
If I sneak around him,
Just
he's
a
going
minute,
to
zombie.
see us.
We're arguing, obviously.
Yeah, shut up.
It kind of lazily puts its hand on Jules' shoulder like it's going to try and grab him, and Jules like slaps it off while he's still arguing.
Get
with
off
Tough.
me. Tough, you always set these unrealistic expectations for me. Look, I'm doing the best I can with the situation we're currently in.
Unrealistic expectations. When's the last time you killed something in one hit, Jules?
Oh, how dare you.
Whatever. Well, now I gotta get us out of this situation, as usual.
You better hope that we die in this encounter, because if we make it out, I'm going to kill you myself.
Well, at least I'd know I'd have more than one stab to survive.
You know that's a soft spot for me. How dare you?
Whatever. Well, now we
And
gotta
all
go
of
a
this
whole
is a
different
free
way.
action. So you guys have this.
That was at least like 20 seconds.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you for letting us have that. Out of frustration, if I may have one more free action, I'd like to kick the zombie over.
No.
We tried.
All right, well, at least try to use the part of your brain that has memories. Remember the first time we fought these things and what Ilyara told us? Don't kill it, or it will explode goo all over you. You remember that?
Sounds familiar.
Very good, and I tap you lightly. Now follow me as we run away.
As he passes me, I flip him off.
And then I'm just gonna, in the direction of the screams, I guess. I don't know if there's a way that I can not be around this zombie or like backtrack or something, but just make off towards where those screams were stealthily as quickly as possible.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just roll a perception check.
A perception, you say? 25.
And you're going towards that like loud scream that you heard earlier.
Yeah, assuming that's where Waltz is.
Okay. What's your movement speed?
25 feet.
Okay. I'll let you do 2 movements because you kind of did the perception and strategizing with Jules. I'll count that as 1.
Sure.
You just take off running 50 feet, maybe poke this zombie with your tail as you run by as it was reaching towards you to kind of keep its distance, and take off down the alley. And that'll take us to one of the halfling that Waltz ran away from, that is also running back through the alleys searching. And we'll go back to Jules. Jules, this is for free, can you roll me a perception check with a +5 circumstance bonus?
23.
As you're about to take off after Tough and you're thinking about what he said about them exploding, you do remember that this didn't happen to every one of the undead creatures you fought at the cafe, like the one that Renard knocked off the roof. He even did that one that he did that like finisher on when he jumped off. So some seem to explode and some don't. So you don't know for sure if this one would or wouldn't. And you don't really know how to tell which ones might
Okay.
do with that, which you will.
All right. I flipped this one off as well.
After you flipped off Tough, too. Just flip everybody off. Jules is sassy tonight.
He's in his emo phase.
Yeah.
I'm about to have to start costing him an action for how many birds he's flipping today.
Nice.
And then I will just take my boot and kick him in the face.
Yeah, just roll it up.
That is a 22.
Yeah.
Hits. Roll your damage.
That's a 4.
You go to kick him thinking you're not going to kill him or anything like that, and maybe just kind of kick around his groin, stomach area. And as you kick, his body just like folds in half, and his upper body and lower body separate from each other, and he just sort of hits the ground and splats, and you maybe kind of kick him lightly with your other foot, and he doesn't move at all. You think you just killed it.
All right. And then I'll have a brief moment where I'm wondering if it's going to explode. And then I'll just run after Tough. Tough, slow down!
And Tough will just roll his eyes.
And I'll use my last 2 actions to catch up with Tough.
All right, that'll take us to Dax, who just murdered the Kitsune. Assassin's Creed style. Assassinated,
Awesome.
sorry. Murder has a bad connotation. Assassinate sounds cool.
He's doing his job.
Okay, so yeah, you said with that last nat 20 that I already know kind of the direction that I'm supposed to be going. Is that right?
Yeah. And you know, like, where that other one jumped off the roof with that nat 20, so you may know that kind of in that area.
So I want to get to that roof. How many... Is that just like one roof over, or am I going to have to go across a couple buildings to stay on the roof?
I'd say that's 2 roofs over.
Okay. So Dax is going to... He's going to look down, kind of get sure of his footing, and start sprinting towards the next roof and do a long jump action
All right.
to Assassin's Creed style leap to the next thing here.
Can you roll me your athletics check?
That is a 27.
Oh, sick.
You're rolling high.
All right, so even though a long jump is 2 actions because you got a critical success, and I think it's cool, we'll just say that your momentum carried you through as you did your roll, and it's going to let you gain more speed and carry into your next jump. So for just one more action, I'll let you jump the second
Nice.
gap.
I like that.
Roll
Gracious.
an
And the whole
athletics
time, it didn't end up mattering, but my little winglets let me long jump further, 5 feet
check. Oh,
longer.
sick. Oh, I should have
guys
described
smell
that.
that?
That's cool.
That is a 26.
Awesome. That's another critical success. So you almost like jump
Holy
and then
cow.
open your winglets for a second and glide. Maybe this second building was a little lower than the one you jumped from, and you glide down looking like Batman and slide onto the roof and come up to the edge and look down, and you instantly just see a gaggle of these undead soldiers kind of all wandering towards the same point, and you can see that they're on to something.
All right.
That's a cool. These are some cool turns for Dax. Like
Dude, this is the
type of
coolest I've
character
felt
you are.
in a long
Dax
time.
is doing it.
Yeah, that's actually very
He
Dax.
is
Like,
in
I'm really
his
happy for
element.
you right now.
He's doing
I feel
well.
like these are the types of scenarios you dream of when you create a rogue, and then now you're
100%.
you're just nailing it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet. Okay, and that takes us to one of the little guys that was following Waltz. Waltz, maybe as you're circling back, you can tell that maybe based on the sounds that one of the ones that was following you is sort of lingering back the way you came, or maybe wandering another direction sort of aimlessly, but you can tell that the other 2 were pursuing the way you just came from and like behind you more or less. And this does take us back to you, Waltz.
Okay, so I guess my first action will be to find the best place near me to hide.
Okay, roll a perception check.
22.
Waltz, you look around and you see that there's some inlets of these buildings that maybe aren't super deep, but you can get behind, or there is windows to some of these buildings you could try and pry open and get into a building. And then maybe there's like barrels in the alleyway as well if you just want to try and hide behind something like that. So what does Waltz want to do with that information?
I want to do one of the little in-cut things.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
Okay, I will.
Darren, do a good job. I'd suggest being successful in this.
My stealth is +1, so
Nice.
Hooray.
Great.
10.
Let's go.
Whilst you find a part in the architecture that is indented and hope that the protrusion beyond you sort of blocks you from the line of sight of any of these creatures, and as you lean up against it, you realize you have just jacked pecs that are sticking out a little bit further than the protrusion, but feel like you've already made your decision and are just going to hope that
gonna
this
be the
works
session drawing.
as
so
you
funny.
lean up against the wall as you hear feet coming down the alleyway.
Okay, but
towards
my
you.
final action is I want to put one hammer away.
Okay,
That'll do.
Very important. Put one hammer. Good thing you have two.
And can I just check on my little black veins?
Yeah, for sure. You realize the feet coming towards you are heavier feet, and you hear heavy exhales. Sounds like a very lumberous creature, and you know that this is most certainly the orc. And you lean your head back up against the wall. Your blood is pumping. You can start to feel just your blood coursing through your veins with how heavy your heart is pounding. And then it starts to hurt in your leg as the blood is coursing more intensely. And you look back down at your leg and just see that for now it looks like the spreading has stopped, but your veins are just very thick and black under the skin that you can see. And as you're looking down at that, wondering what it is, wondering what you're going to do about this, you suddenly hear a swoosh as around the corner comes the heavy gauntlet of the orc that is trying to punch you in the face.
Dude, how did he even find me though, bro?
Yeah.
Does a 26 hit you?
Yeah, it hits Zach.
And as you see it coming, you try and turn away to protect your head, and this fist just crushes you in the upper back as you take 11 damage as your chest crushes up against the wall, and you stumble away and look this creature back in the eyes, the one you've killed a long time ago, as it lets out another roar and is going to Superman like jump punch you, gets up in the air and starts to punch downward at you with a follow-up
What
strike.
the heck?
As the fist comes down, you swing the one hammer you have as you're stumbling away and connect with the gauntlet and throw the punch just barely off course as this tiny clank of the little warhammer resonates down the alley, and then it just punches into a wall instead as you see just rubble fall from the wall. Its fist is stuck for a moment as it's roaring and pulls it out, and some rocks fall and it looks back at you.
You're a lot stronger than I remember.
And that'll take us to Tough.
Yeah. Any chance I heard all that?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 15.
You just kind of vaguely know it's a little more off to the west now, like whatever the commotion is sort of changed directions, not so much distance. So you know kind of maybe the direction you need to work towards, but don't know exactly how far.
Well, if no one else is going to make any effort to be quiet, then why should I?
And then Tuff just yells out,
Waltz, where are you?
Oh my god, that's great.
hoping that he'll hear me and respond.
It's not his turn. It's not his turn. We're not doing like... If he was right by you, I'd let him talk a little bit.
Last action, I'm just going to book it towards that direction. You said west or whatever it was.
Jules, this way.
Tough. As you start to go that way, you do see a smaller undead working its way up an alley. Like he's perpendicular to you, so he doesn't see you, but you see that it fixed its eyes on something and is working its way down an alley very eagerly as you lose sight of it. And that'll take us to Jules.
Since I didn't notice that creature, I will say, sure, yell at me for not being subtle, and then I'll chase after him. Yeah.
If you want to use all three actions, because he only used one action to go down that alley, so if you want to use all three, you could get closer than him.
You know what? I'll do it. Like a big brother, you know, like a sibling thing where you like grab their shoulder and pull them back like it's a race.
Yeah.
So now I'm in front. Stupid.
Get off, you're slowing me down.
You're slow. I'm slowing you down.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Then why am I in front? Jack.
Oh, you
Sassy Jules tonight, dude.
And then Tuff is just going to groan and try to like run even faster after him.
All right, and that'll take us to Dax, who just glided down onto the building where he knew the undead must have jumped off and kind of near all of the commotion. So what do you do, Dax?
Dax will peer over the edge of the roof and take a few seconds to just observe, see where these undead creatures are headed. Yeah, just try to glean some information about where Waltz might be.
Can you roll me a perception check?
You bet. 23.
All right, you step over the edge and you see the undead making its way down an alley, and then here's some commotion down the other way, and then even Tough yelling coming from a different direction, and kind of triangulate all of this information and then fixate on like where all of the focal points must be, and look over and hear down in an alley punching and like the sounds of rubble and rock and a hammer tinking off something metal, and just you know that there is a fight just across the alley if you jumped diagonally to a different building.
You know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to jump diagonally to that other building.
All right, roll it up.
All right. Nat 20, baby.
Oh
32.
my goodness, Joel.
Sick.
nice,
Joel
Joel.
said.
What a night.
Okay.
MVP.
Okay, hold up. Hey, Dax, do you want to get down on the level of this fight, or do you want to stay up on the building?
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I'll drop down.
Okay, so, yeah, this is because you nat 20'd, because that is sick, and I know your goal is to get over there and help Waltz. You jump diagonally across, roll, and get to the edge of the building and look down and see Waltz narrowly dodge the last punch, stumbling. He looks like he's in dire circumstances. You look down the alley and see another undead coming up behind him that he doesn't even know about. And you open your winglets and jump and glide down into the alley, corkscrewing, and then superhero land in between Waltz and the orc and stand up.
And with my last action, I will slowly look over my shoulder to the undead creeping up behind Waltz and pull out my sword and say, "Missed you, buddy."
Sick.
Oh, Dax, good to see you, buddy.
And that takes us to the undead that was running towards Waltz down the alley that you spotted, Dex, that he hasn't seen. So then maybe you guys are like back to back and spin as you face this creature that's running down towards you.
Oh, there's no maybe about it. That's exactly what we're doing, Zach.
And it starts like running and maybe even like runs on all fours for a second as it's like screaming, and then it's just gonna like hurl a dagger at you as it's running towards you, and completely miss as you deflect it with your sword, and then it throws a second dagger from its hip as it's running, which you also easily deflect with your sword into the ground, and then it just runs up to you like it's going to try and grab you, but it is out of actions after moving and throwing two daggers. That'll take us to Waltz.
I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to swing at it. But just know that I have the holy aura, so all my strikes have the holy trait.
Oh,
Nice.
that's handy right now, probably, I think.
I played enough fantasy to know that that's a good thing for this.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
29, Zacharnesty.
Oh, sick. Roll me damage.
6 plus holy.
So Waltz, imbued with new confidence, knowing Dax is at your side, and hopefully the rest of Digsby's crew is on its way as well, feeling like you don't need to run anymore, you decide that you are going to fight, especially after this orc just crunched you in the back and you're really feeling the damage from that.
Yeah, I tried to be nice.
And you maybe do like a stutter step, like you're gonna punch with your offhand, and the orc raises its fist in defense, but then swiftly swing your other hand with the hammer and then just crack it in the side of the head. As you see, when it connects with his body, a spark of bright light shines off of him, and his skin looks burnt and singed from where you hit him with the hammer, and it doesn't heal like the other strikes did, as you can start to see part of its skull, and it stumbles backwards and looks extremely dazed.
Nice.
For my next action, Zacharnesty, I'm going to use lay on hands on this undead creature, which means, and I state, the target takes 3d6 vitality damage with a basic fortitude save. On a failure, the target also takes a -2 status penalty to their AC for 1 round.
Dang, dude.
Oh.
How do you like that,
Wow.
Zach?
How do you like him laying on his hands now?
This orc gonna die twice.
Okay, roll me damage.
15.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
sick.
Oh, yeah.
Waltz, you just reach out and grab onto the shoulder of the orc as it was stumbling away and just look him right in the eyes, and your eyes flare white for a moment as you tightly grip his shoulder, and you see his skin start to burn and melt where you're holding on to him, and then you just push him away and he stumbles backwards, and he failed his fortitude save, and you can tell he is very thrown off for the moment.
For my last turn, I'm going to throw my hammer at him.
Oh, throw it?
Throw it. Jesus.
Sick.
Doink him in the noggin.
Isn't he like right in front of you?
Okay, yeah, he is, but
So cool.
well, he like stumbled away. Like I don't know, it seemed like
We
he
described
stumbled
it.
away
I
a
mean,
little
it
bit.
sounds cool. What he's trying to do.
I want to use my hero point.
All right, do it.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, much better. 24.
Okay, can you roll me damage?
Oh yes, 6 damage, Zach.
So, Waltz, after you shoved him away with your eyes flaring and his skin melting away, you stand up tall with your sweaty hair dangling in front of your eyes and maybe
yeah.
toss the hammer up in your hand for a second and then just wind back like a pitcher and just throw it as hard as you can. And it just crushes into his forehead and blows like a hole in his head as white light erupts from his head. And you absolutely annihilated this orc as it explodes with a bright light of necrotic energy.
Uh-oh. Waltz, what are you doing back there?
Can both Dax and Waltz roll me a reflex save?
You bet.
Uh-oh.
Dude, hot dice today.
23.
32.
Oh,
What's in your dice?
Jeez, calm down,
Okay.
Joel.
okay,
Joel reads
okay.
his dice, and I love it.
Dax, you look over your shoulder, and then you can tell what's about to happen as there's a glow, like a dark green, purpley glow inside the chest of this creature. You can see its ribs as this light is emanating from it. And you can tell it's about to explode. So you dive onto the ground and cover your head as it explodes in this like green, electrical, necrotic explosion. And then as you're laying there, you look over your shoulder and you realize Waltz did not move at all, and he's just standing there with glowing white eyes and just this
23.
aura around him, and whatever holy power that he used to kill this thing, plus his successful save, has completely diminished any effects this
nice.
undead explosion has on him. And like even his hair is like glowing white for a brief moment, and then he returns to looking like normal Waltz. He's just standing there with complete, utter confidence as he destroyed this undead creature. Dude, we got Rogues Brogan and Champions championing right now.
Dude,
This
is
Super
going
Saiyan 2
pretty
champion.
pretty
How to
well
bard.
so far.
That's wild.
And that'll take us to Tough,
Oh, here we
who
go.
again just saw an undead going down an alleyway.
All right, there's no way I couldn't hear the explosion.
Oh,
that
yeah.
just
And you
happened,
see
right?
like the light, and you guys were like super close and everything.
Okay.
Jules, you see that?
Yes?
You get there. I'm gonna
As
get
you
to
just
high
see like
ground.
bones fly down the alleyway in a bright white and purple green glow, and just like complete chaos going on down there.
High ground? No, stick together.
I'll be right by you. Relax.
Fine, have it your way.
Or the highway.
And then I slap the rocket boot button to shoot myself up onto a building.
All right, you take off into the fog, your rocket boots firing outwards, and you land on the building just overhead, pretty much the exact one Dax just jumped off of.
What's cool for me, too, is at level 6, which we all are, right, Adam?
My thing says so now.
I have
Well
quick
done.
jump, which makes it so that my high jump and long jump abilities don't take 2 actions. They only take 1.
Sick.
Nice.
So, like, can I see them now? Can I see Waltz and
Yeah.
Dax?
You look down, maybe just catching the end of Waltz, just with like white hair and glowing white eyes, just standing before an explosion. And you kind of see him protected by like this white shield, like there's a trace of flame around him, maybe from the explosion. You can see like this clear line in the ground of it like not passing, and then maybe his hair returns back to normal.
So how many undead are surrounding them right now?
You just see the one that you saw go down the alley that is now locked in combat with Dax as Dax gets back up from dodging the explosion.
Okay.
And I guess from that perspective, you would see down the other end of the alley, the last remaining one that was still chasing after Waltz now coming down. So there's two of the smaller undeads coming down each side of the alley now. But you can see that no one has spotted this other one.
Can I use a free action to yell out to them, or is that going to cost me an action?
I would say since you already kind of talked and strategized with Jules, I would make that an action because you're kind of also calling out an enemy.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to stow my pistol.
Okay.
This adventure's turned into a great opportunity to try out a whole bunch of new gadgets.
And then off my back, I pull out my new shard rifle.
Sick, dude.
Thanks. And then I point, well, I can't do anything else with it yet, but I do have it out, and I'm on a roof.
All right, you maybe kind of just jam the sun shard into it. You see it start to glow as you aim down the sights.
Oh, that's neat.
And that'll take us to the one that's running down that alley that maybe looks up and sees you with this glowing shard rifle and is going to throw out a dagger at you.
What? The undead can throw daggers?
Oh yeah. They're not like zombies. They're like way more agile and aware of things.
I don't like that.
Does a 24 hit you?
Dang it, yeah.
And this dagger just sticks into your shoulder as you're aiming down the sight, makes you look up for a moment, and it wedges in between the plates of your armor, kind of digs into your wires just a little bit, and some sparks fly out.
Jerk. And I toss the dagger to the side.
And then it is going to throw a second dagger, but this time at Waltz, as it's just making its way down the alley. And Waltz, as you calm down and your eyes return to normal and you hear the dagger being thrown down the alley, a new enemy that you haven't seen yet, and you just slowly turn and see just as it throws a dagger, and you just sidestep it as it flies over your shoulder and clanks off the wall. And that'll take us to Jules.
Okay, I'm running.
Yeah, you need
down this
one more
alleyway.
action basically to turn the corner and kind of see everything.
Okay. How far, after doing that, how far would I be from... Okay, first off, do I see...
Yeah, after you run, just use one action to run and kind of turn the corner down the alley. You see that in between you and now Dax, who you see in Waltz, there's just one undead, and then just beyond Waltz's shoulder, you see the second undead that is throwing daggers. You maybe come around right as the dagger clanks off the wall. So the immediate one is only 20 feet in front of you.
Perfect. I would like to throw my trident
All right.
at it. That is a 23.
Ooh.
That hits.
Okie dokie.
Let's go, Big Adarino.
You got him.
Okay, that's 6 damage. And then the trident flies back into my hand.
Sick. Dax, this is the one that you were about to fight with that was looking like it was going to grab you. So all of a sudden you see the prongs of Jules' trident stab out of its chest as it looks down, and then they disappear, and then you look over its shoulder and see the trident flying down the alley and gets snatched by Jules.
A little smirk will come across Dax's face as he realizes what that means.
With that, I would like to inspire courage for my buddies.
I'm so
Oh,
inspired
for sure.
right now.
You would, just by your presence. They would see you come up with that cool entrance and know that
Yeah.
Digsby's crew is nearly in full force. I don't know if they know that Tough is here yet.
How about I do a little hiss
Sick.
with that, and the realization that we're all reunited and we're back together just gives a boost of confidence. So now, my friends, on your next turns, you get a +1 status bonus to attack rolls, damage rolls, and
Yay.
saves against fear effects.
Thank you.
Sick. That'll take us to Dax.
Did the undead that just got stabbed with the trident, is it re-dead again?
No, it is still undead. Alive.
Okay. I think Dax will go ahead and dive down and somersault beside it, kind of out of the way as it's running towards me, doing a tumble through action.
Sweet.
So that's acrobatics versus its reflex DC.
Okay.
That is a 30.
Critical success.
Nice.
Holy cow.
So yeah, now that it's flat-footed against me, I'll go ahead and try to hit it with my striking short sword.
Okay.
Oh, dude, hot dice. I gotta get my calculator out.
Holy cow. You can't even add it.
So 32 to hit.
Oh, dude, especially with the flat foot, that is like a super crit. So
Jeez.
roll me double damage, bro.
So because he's flat-footed, I get sneak attack, which gives me plus 2d6 damage.
Oh my god.
So-
This is gonna be way more than you need, probably.
36 damage.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Dang, dude.
Remind me not to 1v1 Dax.
Okay, so Joel's like, maybe after you catch your trident, this thing stumbles and like turns around to look at you where it came from, and then all of a sudden you just see a sword tear through its chest and its body just like rip open as Dax like dives through him and then just lands as like black gooey blood just is like all over Dax's shoulders as he lands in this cool stance on one knee with his sword out, and then you just see the body just like split and fall over, completely dead, annihilated.
Oh, good lord, Dax.
And seeing this undead coming towards Waltz throwing daggers, Dax will just wipe the goop off of his sword, stare this undead in the eyes, and say, "Let's go." Using my Your Next class feat that I got at level 6, I reduce an enemy to 0 hit points. After downing a foe, you menace in your mind another foe that you're coming after them next. So it's an intimidation check with a +2 circumstance bonus.
Oh.
Okay, roll it.
So that is, oh my god, are you kidding me? 31.
Oh my,
Oh my
gosh.
Jeez, Joel.
Okay,
Are you cheating?
this
I
normally
swear
I'd be
I'm
like,
not.
No,
normally
I
I
know.
would even wonder like if undead would even become demoralized, but like given this situation and the fact that like Waltz just did like holy damage to him and is like had like glowing eyes, and Dax just like cut him in half. This thing is like running and then it just sort of stops and slides, trying to put itself at a halt as it sees you standing there cleaning off the sword, and Waltz's eyes flare white for a moment. And he sees Jules standing back there spinning his trident, and it kind of just freezes, thinking of what it wants to do or what it's supposed to do, almost like does not compute. I'm supposed to feel no fear, but I've never seen anything like this sort of thing. It just sort of stands there and looks like it doesn't quite know what to do, kind of anxiously bouncing in place, and that'll take us to Waltz.
All right, I'm going to take that dagger that he threw and throw it at him.
Okay, and that'll be 2 actions. One to pick it up and one to throw it, but I know you don't care about optimal play, so yeah, why not? 2 actions to throw the weakest weapon you could possibly find.
Yes, 26.
Oh my gosh. All right, roll damage.
All right.
7.
Oh my
7
gosh.
damage. And remember, he takes the holy trait.
Oh, Waltz, you're just like, you're exuding this like absurd, confident combat prowess right now that maybe no one's really seen from you before, where you're like very serious. And as you're all just staring down this undead and it freezes, and you look down at the dagger on the ground and just sort of stomp on the handle, but just on the edge of it, that gets it to like flick up into the air and then catch it. And then it starts to glow white, and you just flick it down the alley, and it stabs into the chest of the undead, and you hear it kind of split the bones, and you see some white aura glowing out of the wound as it stumbles backwards, maybe falls to a knee, and then slowly stands back up. It is still alive.
Okay, and for my last action, I will take out my sword.
Wow. Walt's really just in the combat zone right now. A rare sight. Takes out his sword. You even see it glow white briefly for a moment as he maybe twirls it in his hand and gets a feel for the weight of it. And that'll take us to Tough.
Tough is astounded by the technical prowess Waltz is demonstrating right now, and just kind of laugh at himself. And then, more for flavor's sake, I imagine Tough kind of getting down into a prone position while he's holding this rifle, you know, like a sniper type situation. I don't know if that actually affects anything or not, though.
Yeah, you kind of just rested on the lip of the building, kind of give it some extra stability, because you witnessed the Kitsune shooting it, and you saw like how powerful it was and how uncoordinated they looked with it, so you felt like you should brace maybe.
Yeah, and after kind of getting my bearings with it, getting used to the scope, I'll cock it back, and I'm gonna look at that final undead just standing there like a goon and fire at him.
All right, roll it up.
Does a 24 hit?
Roll damage.
I'll do it. Which one of these is an 8?
And that.
That would be great. That would be one of the best endings. The most like unclimactic ending. I think 1, 2, 3,
Which
4.
one of these things is an 8?
I'm like physically counting the sides now. All right, here I go. That's an 8 plus 1 is 9.
So all of you sort of standing there looking at this one undead. It's just standing in an alleyway. It looks so vulnerable, so exposed. Maybe the clouds even clear for a second. It's just like tunnel vision at this one undead. The three of you are standing there almost like shoulder to shoulder. You don't quite know where Tough is, and then suddenly you hear the sound of a charging shard rifle, and then just a lightning blue beam just shoots down into the alley and erupts the undead in this electrical explosion, and there is nothing left of it, just a burnt ash mark on the ground. And you look up and just see Tough aimed down the sight of a rifle on a rooftop overhead.
Holy moly.
Whoa! Tough!
Wow, that was incredible. What a shot.
I'll give him a thumbs up this time.
Can you all roll me a perception check real quick?
Ah, crap.
I'll do it. Right there. Nat 20. 28.
21.
My luck
Did
had
you
to
say
run
nat
out
20,
sometime. I got a
I got
nat
a
1.
20, baby.
No! I got a 13.
Dax, you're just kind of standing
So
there. You
13.
can't believe like everything you just saw is like the stuff Waltz was doing. Like even what you did, you're like kind of coming down from just you. I mean, you were sprinting across rooftops, gliding
Right.
down. You cut them in half. Waltz is like glowing, and then there's shard rifles and Jules is showing up, and you're just like, holy cow! Like you're having like this adrenaline high. But everybody else, you're hearing the sounds of many undead converging on your location, and know that you need to go and get lost in the clouds and make your way to your destination ASAP.
We gotta get out of here.
What? Why?
Don't you hear that? More coming now.
Yeah, let's go.
Jules will look back the way we came, and he'll say, "Everyone, on me!"
All right, Tough, maybe you jump down from the rooftops, letting your rocket boost slow your fall. You all group back up together, hear the sounds of the undead coming, regroup, and starts to make your way down the alleys and out into the open, rushing towards the castle of Star Sea with undead roaring all around you off in the distance. And that is where we'll end our session.
Moly.
Wow.
Michael.
Wow. We had some good
That was a
moments there,
good
guys.
episode.
I'm super
Boy.
proud of all of you.
Let's talk about how cool the
Dax
Dax and
is
Walt
a
situation
bad-
was.
Hold on,
Like,
one second.
start by
Hey,
talking
guys, can
about
you
it.
guys one
Hey,
second?
The
Hey, Joel, what did you
baddest.
just say?
He's a little baddie.
What did you say, Joel?
so let's
Shut
talk
up,
about
Joel.
how. Oh,
Shut up, Joel.
Whoa!
Joel.
Hey!
And if any of you want to follow
Zach.
suit, you're next. Shut up, all of you. These are preemptive shut-ups if you want to start talking about it, because we're going to talk about that in the downtime, which is for patrons, where we react to the most recent episode, and we're all going to just talk about how cool their turns were, and just some cool character moments and things like that. If you want to check that out, become a patron. All right, that was a fun episode, guys. Lots of cool moments. Let's read a
was.
couple comments that I've seen. Let's do some YouTube ones. It's been a while since I've talked about some YouTube ones. This was on YouTube, season 2, episode 2, where Waltz fights Geldir in the kitchens. And this person, their name is Umbrella, and that's me butchering it because, I don't know, like, maybe you can dox someone with their YouTube name. You can go check out the comments if you're really that curious. And they said, before it cut to their perspectives, talking about, like, you guys up on the deck while Waltz is down there fighting, I imagined Jules, Tough, and Dax just awkwardly sitting there as Waltz and Geldir had it out downstairs, thinking it was just Waltz alone, letting out his stress. And then she put in quotations, should we? Nah, best to just let him get it out. So they thought, and picturing him down there just like destroying the kitchen after his climactic
visual.
vision. I love it. I love
so
any
funny.
time that you can get like really specific comments on episodes. Those are super fun. And I do want to give a very specific shout out. So if you don't know, we have a shop where you can buy merch. We're super bad about promoting this.
don't we?
But the other day we got a really cool email. I felt bad about this, but someone put on like the contact form, and I don't want to use any specific names, but someone emailed us and they said, my sons love the show, but my 8-year-old, the bigger fan of the two, still wears kid sizes. I'm guessing that the shirts are print on demand. If so, is there any way to add kid sizes? he'd lose his marbles over a Digsby's crew shirt. So obviously we were like, oh man, we got to get these kids a kid-size shirt. So we looked into it, we checked it out. Unfortunately, because we just use like this vendor of supplier that kind of just makes the shirts for us. We don't really like put specific orders in for it, and we're kind of just like stuck with what they have set up. And it was like hard for us to get all this set up. We're not very good at this, but basically the smallest they go is extra small, and I think that's still too big. So I emailed the guy and I let him know. I did say if they want a specific shout out, just let us know. We just want to give them some love because we can't give them the shirts. So he said, yeah, his sons' names are Liam and Declan.
Yeah, go Liam and Declan.
So Liam and Declan, dude, we are sorry, guys, that we couldn't get you the shirts. But thank you so much for listening to the show. Like that, if we ever get kid sizes, I promise we will follow up and let you know. But thank you so much for supporting the show. We're glad you enjoy it.
Love you guys.
Thank you for the interest and the merch. But yeah, if we ever figure something out, we'll let you guys know. And thank you for sticking with us, and we appreciate it. So Liam and Declan, you guys rock, and we will see you next time, Liam and Declan, and mortals.
Waltz, what do you want to do? Do you want to fight these things or get the
Too
heck
bad you
out
can't
of there?
smooth talk your way out of fighting undead like you could to
No,
Drake Knights.
we're supposed to be here. I'm a zombie too.
or anything like that.
Look at my blood; it's black.
Do you guys
I'm
want
like
to be
you.
best friends?
I don't know why you're attacking me.
Look, I
we're
got black
allies
blood
in this
just like
situation.
you got.
I'm
Feel
gonna be
like
your
down
new
with my
leader
work.
soon.
Aren't you guys supposed to be over there? I'm guarding this
look at my-
area.
Have some cabbages.
Yeah, they hit him with the bag of apples.
I just got these 2 light hammers to bring to the city, and I get attacked by all these undead.
I'm actually
Don't
here to
forget
fix
about
the
the hammer
buildings
in my
around here.
pants.
I heard there was a broken Flora Divina. Got these hammers.
I got 2 of them so I could work twice as fast.
All hammer, no nail.
The only tool you need to fix things is always a hammer. Yeah.
Just a flood of bonk
Ryan, I
sounds.
appreciated your joke. Nobody heard.
What did I say?
All hammers, no nail.
All hammers, no nails. That'd make a
Okay.
good shirt or a song.
Okay, Zach or Nesty, I would like to use all 3 of my movement actions, which is...